Hi, Davion and Jacqueline. This is Dr. Bob Whipple. I am your instructor for English 150 Section RW this summer for the next 4 weeks. So it's good to contact you either face to face or via email or via video. And I'm looking forward to leading you through an exploration of sort of the ways that writing is changing over the 21st, over the next, over the past, or rather, over the past 30 or 40 years, and how writing in the 21st century is going to be a little different than the way writing was or has been in the 20th century. So, if you go to your Blue Line website and go to section RW, you'll find the materials for our class. And you'll see that they're divided into modules. And you'll see module 1, 2, 3, and 4. Actually, there's a welcome module which has the syllabus and policies and contact information for me and a little bit about me and things like that, sort of the housekeeping matter of the course. And then you'll find modules 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each module corresponds to a different week in our class. So this is week 1, and so we're working on module 1 right now. Weeks 2, 3, and 4 will follow, of course, after this week. Now, for module 1, there are 3 things you need to do. Reading comment 1, reading comment 2, and the draft of paper number 1. Okay? Reading comment number 1 is due on Wednesday, with your response to each other due on Thursday. Reading comment 2 is due on Thursday, with your responses to each other due on Wednesday. So for most of your reading comments, you're going to have to obviously read the assignment and then comment on it, and then the next day will be your response to your classmates. So Davion will comment on Jacqueline's reading response and vice versa. Okay? So, as I said before, this class leads you through some ideas and some readings that talk about how writing has changed. Writing, which used to be in the 20th century, used to be sort of alphabetic and linear and text-based, and now it's much more based on multimedia. I mean, there's text, of course, still as the base, but there's a lot more multimedia, a lot more design involved, a lot more color and links and video and audio. Writing is changing, and we're sort of sitting in the middle of that sort of change process. And that's what this course really asks you to explore and think about. Okay, so weekly comment 1, which is I know that you have done, both of you have done this initially already, but weekly comment 1, which is due Wednesday, asks you to look at a couple of ways of sort of a spoof historical video of Brother Ansgar dealing with new technology, i.e. the book. And there's another part to that question, part to that weekly comment that you need to answer as well, a little bit more personally based about your own writing. Weekly comment 2 will follow on to that. It asks you to look at a piece of writing by Wendell Berry, who is a little bit older quite a bit older than me. He's in his late 80s now. He's a farmer, an environmentalist, and a teacher. And he writes in his article why I am not going to buy a computer, why he doesn't feel he needs to have a computer. And you're going to be asked to respond to his assertions and really explain whether you buy those ideas, buy those concepts or not. For reading comment number 2, please be very careful not to dismiss his ideas out of hand. Okay, just because you don't agree doesn't mean that his ideas are potentially valid. So I want you to take sort of an even-handed look at what Wendell Berry is saying before you start writing your comment. Paper number 1, which is due Sunday, or the draft of which is due Sunday, is a PowerPoint or a Keynote if you're using a Macintosh. And it asks you to discuss 3 ways in which you are literate. Now, if you read the Elizabeth Daily article that's mentioned in the beginning sort of intro page for week number 1, you'll understand that the concept of literacy is changing. And literacy is no longer just words on a page. Literacy can be multiple ways of communicating, multiple ways of acting, multiple ways of being. So, for example, you can be computer literate, you can be sports literate, you can be um, literate in a particular culture, you can be literate in a lot of different ways. I've gotten papers from students that have talked about how they are literate in babysitting, in cheerleading, certainly in basketball and volleyball and football and just about every other sport you can imagine. Literate in skiing, literate in Hawaiian culture, literate in Chinese American culture, literate in cooking, literate in making a particular kind of food. I had a Hawaiian American student once who wrote how he was literate in making a particular dish called spam musubi, and he added a little video into his PowerPoint. So you can do that if you want. I want it based on a PowerPoint though. I want it more text. You should not rely on bullet points, and you should show yourself. And this is explained in the video in the assignment as well. I want you to show yourselves living this literacy. I want you to tell a story for each literacy. I want you to tell a story of a time that you specifically lived or experienced that literacy, that ability, that sort of knack that you have, or your ability to do a particular thing. Okay? So, for example, I used to be a musician. So if I were writing this paper, I would talk about a particular time that I had to play a solo, and I didn't get it actually perfect, but it was the first time I played a solo, and I was very, very glad when it was over. Okay, little bitty story, a couple paragraphs, maybe one or two PowerPoint slides. Okay, please use pictures, please use text, integrate them both. I think the assignment on Blue Line is very clear for project number 1, so please do that. All right. So I've gone over weekly comment 1, weekly comment 2, and paper number 1. The due dates are by each are explicated on each assignment. If you just go to the main homepage of our course and slide down, it'll tell you when each assignment is due. If you have any more questions, my office phone is 280-402-280-2520. If you send a voicemail there, it'll go straight to my email, and I will get it. I check my email many, many times a day. It's about 10 o'clock p.m. right now as I write this. I usually don't check my email much after 10 p.m. So between 10 p.m. and say 9 a.m., don't expect me to be on the email. But after that, there's a good chance of catching me. You know my email as well by now. It's Whipple, W-H-I-P-P-L, or W-H-I-P-P-L-E, at creighton.edu. Again, I'm very glad to have you in this class. I'm very glad to work with you on exploring the future of literacy in the 21st century. We will have video office hours available, probably not this week, but we will have video office hours on Tuesdays from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Via a program called WebEx, and I will be sending you before next week instructions on how to access the video office hours if you want to. Okay? If you are in town, I would be happy to meet with you face to face in my office. I teach a class from 12 noon to 1 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So either right before or right after that would be a good time for me to meet. That's all I have for right now. I hope you are having a really good summer. I hope you're staying cool during this, what it's turned out to be about a 2-week really hot streak in the weather here in Omaha. Wherever you are, I hope you're enjoying yourselves. If you have any questions, email me or call. I'll be happy to help you out. That's what I'm here for. And so I'll see you on the internet. Take care and bye-bye.